Hi, we're doing a little college Q&A, so welcome. I asked on my Instagram story earlier today for you to ask me all of your college questions, so we're just going to go through them really fast. Little background, I go to the University of Texas in Austin. I'm going to be a sophomore, and I am a corporate communications major and a media and entertainment industries minor. So yeah, and I'm in a sorority. So, okay. What made you decide on UT Austin? So I know that deciding on colleges can be very stressful and difficult. For me, honestly, I didn't really get into any other schools that were like UT Austin that I wanted. I wanted a big school. I wanted to go kind of far away from home. And so it literally just had like everything I wanted, and I was able to visit the campus and I loved it. So it was kind of just like a clear choice for me. It wasn't always like when I applied, I didn't think I was going to go there at all. And then when I started hearing back from colleges and stuff like that, that's when I started deciding it was going to be UT. And then once I got into UT, I was kind of set. I can do another video on that later if you want to know my stats and stuff like that. How do you cope with not being able to go home when you please? I'm going out of state. I think it's easy because it was never an option. Like, I knew that I was committing to not going home. I only really knew a few people who really went home a lot, so that also made it easier that I was surrounded by people who were also like far away from home and not able to go home. If you just find like that good group of friends that make it feel like family, it's easier not to want to go home all the time. I hope you can't hear that airplane. Not being able to go home when you please ends up making you more independent and stronger, and like I feel like it's for the best. And then, did you ever regret moving so far? No, not at all. And I would suggest going far. It feels so good to just leave your high school behind and everything behind and just like start over. So scary, but like also it's like the best thing that I ever did, and I feel like I learned so much from it and like grew so much. I do not regret it at all. Is college harder than high school? I feel like life is harder. Like in high school, you're living with your parents, you like have activities, and you like go to school for a certain amount of time, and you have homework, and like there's a schedule. And in college, like no one gives you that schedule, and you're literally all on your own, and I think that's harder. As for like schoolwork wise, I think it's the same. Like I think it's manageable like high school. I think the problem people have is like it's a lot of schoolwork and a lot of life things that you have to figure out, to where that makes the schoolwork harder to keep up with. If you compared the high school work to the college work, for me at least, I don't know if my high school was just like rigorous, it was not that much harder. It was just like a regular old class. It just takes a lot more like time management to be successful in college versus in high school. It's kind of laid out there for you. Were there any ways that college during COVID might have been better than a regular year? Yes. I mean, like a lot of it wasn't great, and like I missed out on a lot of things, and like a lot of people couldn't even go to campus. I was able to, but I think the one good thing out of it was that I had all online classes, and so I could schedule my classes around my life. So if I wanted to go to a workout class at 12:15 and I had class, I could just say like, oh, I'll watch it later, because most of my classes were asynchronous. But when it's in person, I won't have that flexibility, and I'll have to revolve my life around school. What are the first couple of weeks like? I feel like it goes by so fast. Like the whole year goes by so fast. The first couple of weeks is definitely like kind of weird. I feel like you meet a lot of people that you end up like you won't talk to again. Like I remember me and my roommate, like, well, one, you and your roommate like starting to get close if you've never met your roommate before. So we were like trying to figure us out and like get to know each other because we had never met before. And then we also we went to dinner with a lot of people that like I didn't really talk to for the rest of college. Like you just kind of meet a lot of people, see if they're going to be your friends, and then if not, it's like completely normal just to not talk to them again, which I feel like is a weird dynamic, but also like everyone's in that boat. Like no one knows anyone. So you're just trying to meet as many people as you can. So that's kind of cool. And I feel like everyone's just like really like, I don't know, like trying to like figure it out, and like everyone's nervous but excited. And the first couple of weeks goes by so fast. Like all of a sudden it will be Thanksgiving break, and you'll have a group of friends, and you'll be settled, and it's just, I don't know. Would you recommend rushing? Yes, definitely. Even if like you're a little bit interested, I think you should do it, because you'll meet so many people and if it doesn't work out, you can always like drop and not continue, but I think it's a great experience. And I've met so many people through it that I would not have met if I didn't do it. How did you pick a roommate? Me and my roommate met through Instagram. She DM'd me. I posted on the Facebook page, I posted on like the Instagram pages and stuff like that, and it was so hard for me to find a roommate, but I found her, she DM'd me, and it worked out. Was it hard meeting friends outside of sororities? Yes, but I think that's just part of COVID, because I think I would have met a lot more people outside my sorority if I was going to classes and seeing people in person, but I wasn't, so my sorority was kind of like the only thing I was doing. And the dorm that I lived in wasn't very social either, so that's like how I met all my friends, was through my sorority. But I don't necessarily, like, you could join any club and meet friends through that, like, but you just have to join something. And then I think like in classes you'll meet people too, and if you're in a more social dorm. Looking back, what is something you stressed over that wasn't worth stressing over? Definitely my roommate. I talked to like 17 girls, and I was so stressed that I wasn't going to find someone, and it all worked out. And I know people find roommates and it definitely doesn't work out, but also it's just a year, and honestly that's like part of the experience, so that's the part I wish I didn't stress out about. What's your favorite class you've taken so far? Any of like my communications ones, I've taken like 2, and I really like them, so that's like what makes me sure that I want to be in my major, which feels good. What do most college students wear on an average day? Looking around at my campus, I feel like girls wear like leggings and a t-shirt, or shorts and a t-shirt. Some girls definitely like dress up in cute outfits, like jeans or pants and a cute top and stuff like that, but it's mostly like sneakers and like comfortable clothes where you can walk, because you're walking a lot and stuff like that. I hope that answered the question. Advice on how to make friends: don't say no. Like, if someone asks you to go get coffee or go get lunch, say yes. Like, don't say no. Like I said, like within the first couple of weeks, you could go to coffee with someone and never talk to them again if you don't like them, and that's not weird at all. Like, don't feel bad. But also, you could go to coffee with someone and they could be your best friend. And also, like, ask people to do that, because it's not weird. Like, everyone's trying to make friends. Why did you decide not to swim in college? So swim was like a really big part of my life all throughout high school. I mean, all throughout like my entire life. And I looked into swimming in college, and the colleges that I could swim at were not the kind of colleges that I would want to go to. They were smaller, and I knew I wanted a big school, and I knew I wanted to be in a sorority and like do other things. So I loved swimming, and it was a big part of my life, but I knew that I was ready to focus on more things, because swimming took up so much time in my life, and I'm very glad that I did it. I think I stopped at a really good time. Of course, I miss it, but I think that college was the right time for me to stop. What tips would you give to not be overwhelmed by class? Honestly, just take it week by week. I would say day by day, but you should know like what upcoming projects you have and stuff. I think for me, like when I start looking at like the end of the semester kind of projects and stuff, I would get really overwhelmed because the projects feel so big. I remember feeling that way, like seeing my first projects, and I was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to do that. The class like teaches you so that you'll be able to do those big projects, if that makes sense. So like really just take it week by week, or like unit by unit if that's how the class works, not looking at it as a full picture but kind of focusing on the assignments in front of you. Maybe that's bad advice, but that's how I did it. Tips for not having a car on campus: honestly, find friends that have cars. Ubering is nice, get used to walking. It's honestly not that bad, but it does depend what school you go to. Like my school is like kind of in the city, and so I don't necessarily need a car, but if your school's really spread out, then I think it would be a lot harder. Did you ever get homesick? Yes, but it wasn't often. I think there was like 3 times where I got super homesick, and it was mainly like one of them was Easter weekend when like everyone went home and I didn't, and just like moments like that where it's like, oh, I kind of wish like I was home with my family. Is it as stressful as high school? I don't think it's as stressful as high school. I think it's a lot more fun. I think you have a lot more freedom, and there's a lot less pressure. in high school, I felt a lot of pressure to get good grades to get to college. So now that I'm here, it's kind of like, okay, like I made it. Like I'm going to focus on my degree. I'm going to focus on my major and like doing what I like to do. Versus like in high school, it felt so much about like doing AP classes that you didn't like just to get the good grade. It felt so much more competitive than college feels like. And I know like I did go to a super competitive high school, so this is like just my experience, but that's what makes it less stressful for me, is it doesn't feel as competitive. Do people actually date in college or just hook up? I feel like there's a mix. Like I know people who are dating their high school boyfriends. I know people who started dating someone first semester, and I know people who just hook up with people. It's a mix. What are some things you do to stay focused? I like to go somewhere to do my work. I work really well outside or like in a coffee shop when it's loud, which I know some people don't like to do, but I can't focus in libraries or like quiet spaces. So like if I was in my dorm, I wouldn't be able to do my work. So I would go somewhere around campus and sit at a picnic table or go to a coffee shop. And I would start my day that way, do all my work, and then leave. And that's kind of like was my routine. I think it worked really well and I was really productive that way, just like setting a time and place to do your schoolwork versus like your dorm where you're in there living all the time, if that makes sense. Okay, that's all of the questions that I'm going to answer today. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll answer some more questions on there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Good luck to all of you who are going to college. Make sure to subscribe. I'm going to do a lot more advice videos like this. This was just kind of like a quick Q&A. Yeah, I will see y'all in my next video.